friends, my name is Joey Balistreri. Welcome to my work table. Today I am making a couple of projects with the Magical Mystery bead box for September, and it was called The Wizard of Oz. I did do an unboxing and I made some really cute earrings with some other elements in the box, and I can link that below if you didn't see it. But this box was just so whimsical and so delightful with some really unique pieces in it. And it just evoked all kinds of happy childhood memories for me, because this was an annual thing that I did with my sister as far back as I could remember, was to cuddle up on the couch with her and a blanket and be scared of the Wicked Witch of the West and the flying monkeys. And so when I got this box, it was just delightful. So what I want to do is use one of the tassels, the tassel that was in the box. This a lot of what you see here in the gold was from the Cowardly Lion bead strand, and I'm going to cut open the Emerald City bead strand. This was called Oz, this beautiful chain. That's going to be another project, and this is one of the most unique things in the box. These poppies were from this little jar called Poppy Field. There were 3 of them in there, and they are so cool. They are 2 whole beads with the possibility to string vertically or crisscross. And so I'm going to play with a design with that, but this is going to be pretty fast. I really just wanted to make a gorgeous pendant with a very large bail so that I can put it on a leather cord or one of the gold chains that I have in my jewelry wardrobe. And so that's all I'm going to do. I did a wire wrapped loop on this end, and I literally just played with this stack of beads. All of these gold things are from that Cowardly Lion bead strand, and the only thing I pulled from my stash is this little sort of flower shaped cone end cap. I just wanted another element in my tassel drop, and I can actually link these below. This was a whole assortment of different sizes and shapes of cone shaped bead caps, and I've had so much fun since I found that assortment, and it was very inexpensive. And so this does look a little bit long and dramatic. The tassel is very long and dramatic, but I actually love that, and for me this looked very wintry. I used some of the crystals from the Witch of the North mix, and I just kind of cut everything apart, and I just sat here and played with the bead stack until I was happy with the alternation of the colors and metals, and just that simple. Just this is the joy of jewelry making, is just playing with those beads and the shapes. So I'm going to get a hold of this with my bent chain nose pliers, and I'm using 20 gauge wire. Just give that a 90-degree bend, and I won't use my round nose pliers because the largest bail I can get would be right back here on the largest part of that mandrel, and I already know it's not large enough for the clasps that I have on my chain. So I'm going to use my 6-step bail making plier, and I'm going to come to the second to the largest bail and just put that, get it in the right direction, just put that in so that I'm wrapping my wire around the second to the largest, and I'm just going to come around like that, just like the same way we do a wire wrapped loop. Turn it this way so you can see, and I'm just going to bring this around and just roll my wrist back until I have that loop centered on my pendant, and then when I take it away I have a nice large bail, and then from here it's just a simple wire wrapped loop. I'm just going to wrap down to my beads and trim away. Just trim and tuck like we always do. Okay, and then this is just simple. There was a simple loop on the top of this tassel pendant, so I'm just going to add that. You could add a jump ring if you want a little bit more movement and articulation, but I just wanted to keep this little pendant. It's very dramatic because of the long stack of beads and because this tassel is really long. But I just love making pendants. It's just so fun. It's kind of like making earrings, and I love having them in my jewelry box. And when I travel, I like choosing a chain and a leather cord and then a pendant or two, and that way I can interchange them for an outfit without having a whole bunch of necklaces in my suitcase. So I just love doing these kinds of really simple things, and they really spark creativity, and sometimes you find that you go from this to another one. So I really loved this chain. This is so gorgeous, and I felt like this is my style, and I felt like all I needed to do was put a clasp on this, which I have here, a lobster claw clasp and some jump rings, and that is all I'm going to do to this chain, is just make it a necklace. So I guess I can do that honestly, first. This could just be done just as it is. It really could. You could just like take the chain in this box, and that is just a beautiful all on its own. I really love it, but I am going to play with these 3 little 2-hole beads, and I'm going to use 2 pieces of my Soft Flex 49 strand medium bead stringing wire, and this is the Chrysoprase color. It's a pretty, like a mint green, and it's the best color that I had, and it really looks great with these. And I'm going to start off by just threading these beads on, just to get a sense of kind of how they're going to lay. So I'm going to crisscross this bead stringing wire through the holes. Let me just pull them so you can see. Can you see what I did? So I just took one of my wires and went at an angle this way, and one of my bead stringing wires at an angle that way. And really, you could crimp in between if you wanted to and let the bead stringing wire show, but I'm going to play with some seed beads from my stash. So I had these little orange seed beads. I'm just going to dump some of those out here. And I also had this pretty green that's really, it's got a shimmer to it. And I just like like accents this emerald green. And so I'm just going to put some of these out. I might even go and pull some gold ones, but let me just play for a second. I'll kind of show you what I'm planning to do, and then I'll work this out and come back and show you exactly the plan. But I want to grab a bead stopper here and just like get a hold of my 2 wires and just clamp them off. Okay, and just feed my flower up a little bit. And so my plan is to make a little pattern with seed beads that will fill in the space between this poppy and the next one that I'm going to string on. So I'm going to start with 5 greens, an orange, and 5 more greens, and do the same thing on the other strand. Okay, I'm going to bring in another poppy flower and do that same thing where I thread my wire crisscross. So through that side, and then come underneath and go crisscross on this other side. My bead stopper is a little bit heavy, it's pulling it down. And I'm just going to like gently slide that up. Oh, that is so pretty. And I'm going to do the 3rd one down here, same thing. Look how cool that is. Oh, I just love it. That is so pretty. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little seed bead loop at the bottom. So let me just start with maybe 4, 5, 6, 7. one of my orange ones, and then another 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what I'm going to do is feed this other wire in the opposite direction through my 8/0 seed bead. So it looks like that. And I'm just going to pull that down. Is just make a smaller loop with my green seed beads. Do 3, 4, I'll do 5 on each side. And I'm going to just create another loop, and this will be crimped with a number 2 crimp tube. Do the same thing with this that I did with the orange bead. Just feed that crimp tube on and then take my other wire and go in the opposite direction. Feed it through in the opposite direction. So it looks like that, and then just pull. And so I have like a nice little loop to attach a jump ring, so I can attach my pendant to my chain. And let's see, I think I will use my magical crimping plier. You could also do a fold over crimp here and then put a crimp cover, and that's, I put them out here, but I think, let me see if I would like that there. Just play for a second. It actually looks pretty nice. Maybe I will do a fold over crimp. Change in plans. So I'm going to just like slip my crimping plier in there and get my loop into the plier. It's a little tight. I'm going to just pull it as tight as I can and just fold that crimp tube in half that way and then fold it in half this way. I did kind of want to show this plier today just because I know that so many people either don't have the magical crimping plier or they just aren't having success with it. And I always say, oh, you can use your fold over crimp method wherever. You could use a magical crimp, but I never show it. So I decided to do that today. So I'm just going to trim away those little tails and get a crimp cover right over the whole thing and just close it gently. I find the secret to getting the crimp covers on is not to be too aggressive and just go slowly in really small movements with your pliers until that gap is closed. And then it just looks like a pretty gold bead at the top. And now I have to finish off this end, and this is where I need to make sure everything is pulled tightly on this little pendant. Make sure that it is the way that I want it. And I think on this one, let's see, this one is going to attach, maybe on this one I'll just do another loop like my final drop, because I want to attach another drop from the Emerald City to the bottom of the pendant. That's my plan. I want it to be really pretty and dramatic. Okay, and same thing as on the other end. Trim away and add a crimp cover. And that little pendant is done. Let me clean up a little bit. I might want that little that little ball for the end, and I am going to need some jump rings, and I am going to, let's see, I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to choose something from this strand. I was thinking one of these green crystals. Let me cut my strand. My gosh, you guys, this bead strand is so beautiful. There's a beautiful little star inside the cage bead. These are really cool cage beads because you can fit something inside. I could even put this little bling ball inside and hang that from the bottom with maybe the crystal up here. Look at this, you guys. Isn't that the most gorgeous crystal? I am just playing with a piece of 20 gauge wire, and I just made this little stack. Let me see if my bling is going to slide inside. It kind of wants to, but I was thinking of using the orange seed beads. So what I'm going to do is put a little small, let me get my round nose pliers. I'm going to put a little small, just a little spiral at the bottom. Nothing too complicated, just a little, just kind of making a little spiral head pin. Go one more. And just turn this up into a head pin. It's a little bit small. Let me see. I have to get my pliers to help me. And I'm going to thread on this green crystal, and I'm going to come back with some of the orange seed beads that I just cleaned up. And I'm going to just have them like inside the cage bead. I'm going to guess that it's about 5 long. Let me stack it and see. Yeah, I wanted this little bling ball to be at the top, but it's already gone inside. It like just fits. Okay, let's see. That is so cool. I need to remove one seed bead. Just want to fill that space inside the cage bead. Just you just have this really cute little like window that you can see through, but it will keep this bling ball from going down inside. And I'm just going to do a wire wrapped loop here. Let me do it so that my spiral is facing forward. And I'm going to make a small loop because I am going to attach everything with jump rings. And make sure everything is straight. How cool is that? What a cute little drop. Okay, clean up the seed beads another time. I love seed beads. They are just workhorses in design. I've almost reached for them for almost every project. They just are very amazing little beads. Okay, let's get some jump rings. I am going to try this small size. This is a 4mm jump ring because I need to do 2 jump rings in order to get around this crimp bead. So let's see if this one works. I may have to even get out my handmade jump rings because I have a lot more sizes in my handmade jump rings on this side of that crimp bead. and get it closed really well. These small jump rings are a little challenging to close because you don't have a lot of room for your pliers. So I'm going to make like a little bit of jump ring art here. It's going to almost like be a little cage around the crimp bead. Go now on the other side of that crimp bead and get another one of those little jump rings in there. Close it really well. And so now I have a jump ring hanging on either side of that crimp bead. And now I'm going to get a little bit larger jump ring. Use this color. Take a few of these out. Might need them. And now I'm going to bridge those two. So a little jump ring art here. I'm going to put this, let me get my fingers out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to get my larger jump ring through the two smaller jump rings. Little tricky, but it goes. And close that really well. Let's see, do I like the way that's hanging? I do. And now I can go back to a small one and attach my pendant. So a little bit of jump ring art. I love playing with jump rings this way because you can really get just some cool movement and a little bit of cool architecture too. I had to take a phone call, so sorry for the interruption. I have tried a couple of ways to not lose this emerald component because I was using the full length of this chain, and this emerald component is right in the middle. But since I am adding a pendant, I am going to have to lose this emerald component. So I'm going to cut the little rings on either side. And your chain may end up that you don't have an emerald in the middle if you use the whole length, because there are these little like diamond cut bars on this chain, and I had to cut one of my bars away to get my clasp on the back, and then I ended up with one little emerald component this way. And you know, I just wonder if I can actually reattach it. Let me play for a second with how I'm going to attach my pendant to the chain. Now I have ended up with two bars, and I may do, let me see how this would work if I attach one bar to each jump ring on my pendant. Just close these and see how it hangs. Oh, that is perfection. I love that. I was thinking that I had an extra component here that I could possibly connect it this way so that this would hang from this emerald, but it hangs beautifully with a jump ring on either side of the crimp cover and ending with a bar. So if you like this project, you might have to work that out for yourself depending on how the links in your chain turn out. But this is so beautiful and unusual and dramatic. And I see that I have a jump ring that is not closed perfectly. So let me fix that. There we go. Oh my goodness, this was such a fun, easy project to do. Let me clean up my mat. I just took a couple of beads from my Emerald City strand, and I have all of this still to play with. I still have a lot left in this box, but I got two beautiful necklaces, a pendant and then a full necklace out of today's project, and they are just so beautiful. So I thank you so much for watching, and if you are not getting the Magical Mystery Bead Box and you are interested, I do have a discount code which I will put in the description box, but my discount code is also good for shopping the website. So if you're not interested in getting another box, you can always do an order and use my code. And also, I think sometimes people don't realize that the price of the Magical Mystery Bead Box comes down quite low if you sign up to receive it for a longer period of time. So maybe that's in your budget. Anyway, check out the links in the description box. I thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody's safe and well and having fun on your beading mats. Ciao, creative friends.